Hello, I'm Coach Christian, and I help extremely stressed people to deal with their stress by observing it for themselves. Welcome to yet another video. Every single day, I publish a video that's designed to provide you with tools that you can use to deal with any stressful situation in your life. Alright, so let's go into the question of the day. Coach Christian, I am addicted to many things: TV, watching movies, drinking alcohol, eating junk food, etc. How do I break this addiction? Coach Christian, I am addicted to many things: TV, watching movies, drinking alcohol, junk food, etc. How do I break this addiction? Okay, so we're looking at addiction here, right? So, an addiction is really a behavior that you can't stop. It's almost it's a think of it as a compulsion of sorts, right? It's something that the way I view it, at least the observation I've made is that it's an addiction is an action, or let's say an action of pattern, right? A pattern of behavior. Let's put it that way. Let's say it's a behavior pattern that has tremendous energy, right? So I mean, when I was communicating to the Observe community via email this week, and this was kind of the topic, uh, I was mentioning that there is actions have energy. Okay, actions actually have energy. Some actions are high energy, other actions are low energy. If you have an action that you can't stop, it's almost like the action has a life of its own, right? It's whether you like it or not, it keeps going on. That's a high energy action, right? That's an addiction, right? And then there's actions that are low energy, which is it's difficult to get yourself to do them, right? So an example of a low energy action might be stabbing yourself in the chest, right? Or cutting yourself with a knife, right? It's very difficult to get yourself to agree to cut yourself with a knife, okay? Uh, that's an example of an action that's low energy, yes? uh, the energy is in the opposite direction, right? So the energy is not in cutting yourself, but in not cutting yourself. Not causing yourself any harm is a high energy tendency, right? It's you basically you're addicted to trying to protect yourself from any harm, right? Like let's say harm like physical harm, right? This is an addiction. So I guess this is another thing to note is that when you have a high energy action, on the other end you have a low energy action and vice versa. So if let's say I'm addicted to alcohol, right, then I have a high energy, right? Taking alcohol is a high energy action, but the flip side of it is that not taking alcohol is a low energy action, right? So the question is this: how do I break an addiction? Which is, I don't know if I don't know how to break an addiction totally, right? So, but here's at least what I can talk about, which is how do I lower the energy of a given action, right? Another way of saying it is how do I increase the energy of a given action, isn't it? I don't know if this reframing makes sense to you or not. For instance, if I am an alcoholic, right, I just can't stop taking alcohol. If I'm an alcoholic, taking alcohol has tremendous energy. Okay, now and not taking alcohol has very low energy. So the question is, how can I take away energy from the alcoholism, right? How to eradicate alcoholism, I don't know, but how can I take away energy from the alcoholism itself, isn't it? That's the question. And put more energy into not taking alcohol, right? Or if I'm always watching TV constantly in front of a screen and I've become addicted to my TV, well, how do I take away energy from watching TV? Because right now, watching TV has tremendous energy. I mean, if I just find myself in front of the TV and I don't know how I got there, and I'm just watching, and before I know it, it's 6 hours later, right? So, how do I take away energy from TV watching and put energy into something else, not watching TV or performing some other activity? Okay, so I've made a couple of observations when it comes to this topic because it's something that I suffered with a lot. In my case, it's like I wanted to do things, but I couldn't get myself to do them. Yeah. So naturally, I had to figure out, well, how is energy? How is an action given energy? There are many ways to give an action energy, or a thought. It's this a thought, a thought and an action. It's the same. A thought is a form of action too, isn't it? It's a mental action. So how do I give action energy? One of the ways to give an action energy is just repetition, isn't it? You perform the task. If you perform a given activity, whatever it is, I don't care what it is. If you perform it over and over and over and over again, a couple of times a day or every single day, that pattern of behavior is going to gain energy, right? This is one way to do something. It's kind of like have you ever had people like repeat the same thing to you over and over again? Maybe they say it the first time. They tell you the first time that you're lazy. You don't care about it. It doesn't affect you that much. And then someone else again tells you that you're lazy. And then another person tells you that you're lazy. After a while, this laziness takes on tremendous energy, doesn't it? Right. And this is the power of repetition. Right. If you repeat something over and over again, it becomes like you develop a tendency, a strong that action develops strong energy. You find yourself unable to stop yourself from doing the action, right? It becomes too strong if you repeat it so much. This is one way, right? Really, if we get to the crux of it, to give energy to a given action just means supporting it. To give energy to something, you just have to support it. One way to support something is to repeat it over and over again, right? So, well, for instance, how do I become an alcoholic? Just keep drinking alcohol over and over and over again. A couple of times a day, drink tomorrow, day after that. If you keep doing that, yes, alcohol is gonna take tremendous energy, isn't it? So this is one way. This is one way to give energy, a certain tendency to something. Um, another way is another way to support a given action, to give it energy. One thing you can do is to, for instance, get an authority figure to endorse this action, right? So, for instance, if let's say I was trying to, let's say, I mean, just naturally, if you ask me, would I want to go to war? Absolutely not, right? I don't want to die. I don't want to. I'm not interested in any of that stuff, right? Going to war, killing others, not my thing. However, let's say now that the president of the country comes to me and tells me, Christian, you have to fight for the country. I believe in you. You have the soul of a great warrior. Suddenly, the whole idea before this action was low energy, going to war, but now suddenly it may become high energy because someone in authority has told me about it. Maybe that's a bit of an abstract example. Think about your parents. You see, when people tell you stuff, it doesn't have the same weight. I can tell you to do something right now and you're not going to do it. And yet if your mother tells it to you, now suddenly you might even feel compelled to do it. So this is one way in which you can feed energy to an action, right? So let's say you want to get yourself to stop watching TV, right? which means you want to feed energy to not watching TV or doing some other activity. Maybe instead of watching TV, you want to spend, I don't know, you want to go to the gym instead. Let's use that example. Okay. So, how do you feed energy to this action of going to the gym, let's say? One way we said is just by, one way you can do it is to get some authority figures, to support the action. For instance, let's say your parents, or you, that's why sometimes people hire a personal trainer. A personal trainer is an authority figure, right? They're kind of like a coach, right? So if you have a coach behind you, checking up on you, making sure that, hey, are you coming to practice? Are you actually lifting the weight? You see, that gives tremendous energy to, let's say, going to the gym. The other way you can give tremendous energy to an action is by building a community around it. If there's a community of people that support a certain idea, the idea gets energy, right? If 10 people tell, if let's say I come to you and tell you you're a genius, be like, oh yeah, sure. But let's say that throughout the week, every single day, there's someone who keeps telling you, you're a genius, you're a genius, you're a genius. Now suddenly you're going to start to believe that you're a genius. This whole idea that you're a genius is going to gain energy. So this is one way to do it, right? It's a supportive environment is very important, isn't it? So if I wanna go to the gym every single day, I wanna break the addiction to just eating and becoming overweight. If I wanna feed another behavior pattern, I could get people who endorse such a behavior pattern and create a community that way, right? So for instance, I could just become friends with people who go to the gym all the time, and that will make me go to the gym. Or I could, if I'm an alcoholic, I could befriend people who don't drink at all, who are totally against drinking. For example, I can join a certain religious community where they don't drink. People do other stuff instead of drinking. If I join such a community, that will give tremendous energy to me, let's say not drinking. Okay? So this is one way if you want to end drinking or any other thing you like, any other activity. So this is another way to support an idea is to get a community, right? A community behind it. Um, and there's many others. There's like associate the action with tremendous pleasure. That's another way, right? So if let's say you perform an action and you get tremendous pleasure out of it, the chances of you repeating the action just increase, right? This is why drugs are so addictive, right? I'm feeling really stressed and kind of pissed off by things. I smoke a bit of weed, and all of a sudden I'm feeling great. Now, obviously, next time I feel bad, naturally I'm gonna try to see if I can smoke again, right? So if something has tremendous, like, think about sugary foods. Why is a sugary food so addictive? It tastes so damn good, right? Or like, why is a cheeseburger so addictive? You eat it and it feels great. So naturally you want more and more and more of the cheeseburger, right? This is of course why alcohol is addictive. This is where one of the reasons why alcohol gives has so much energy is when you have a hard day and your mind is filled with thoughts and you don't know what to do, you drink a bottle of beer, you drink a couple of bottles of wine, and your problems disappear. So you gain peace, such an amount of joy. This is very addictive, right? This is where the addiction comes from. So if you want to get yourself to do something, you want to link it with pleasure. The other way to get yourself to give energy to an action is if, let's say, you want to discourage a particular behavior, just associate it with tremendous pain. I mean, there's something like this dude called Jim Rohn used to say, which I thought was interesting. I think it was him. Yeah, I think it was him. Like, imagine if, let's say, every time you ate a burger, you collapse. Let's say you eat a burger and then you collapse and get a heart attack and they have to rush you to hospital. It's gonna be unlikely that you're gonna eat a cheeseburger again because the negative consequence is so strong and it's immediate. I think this is what I need to add. It's like if you associate an action with immediate negative consequences, right, then you're going to start avoiding such an action, isn't it? This is why punishment sometimes works in discouraging behavior, right? So, like, When I was a kid, if you did something really bad, like stealing, you get a serious beating, sometimes beaten until you're bleeding. This particular type of punishment, right, discourage the particular behavior. So this is one way in which you can discourage a behavior that you don't like. Link it with tremendous pain, or link the opposite of it with tremendous pleasure. Right. So, for instance, here's one thing you can do. Right. Like here's one thing that would work. Right. Let's say there's a particular behavior you want to stop, like let's say smoking. Right. You wanna get yourself to stop smoking, for instance. One action you can do is, let's say every morning, spend some time imagining all the negative consequences that come from smoking. Just imagine them. What could happen? My lungs could do this. I could collapse at any time. I could get lung cancer. I might never see my daughter grow up. Write those down and then spend some time writing down what will happen if you stop smoking, right? Clean breath, you feel good, you grow old with your children, blah, blah, blah. You just write down in vivid detail the negative consequences of doing something, and in vivid detail the positive consequences of not doing that thing. And I'm not, if you do it one day it's not going to work, but keep doing it every day. When you do this every day, for instance, you're going to strengthen anything. If you repeat it, you strengthen the connection, you give it tremendous energy, right? What you want to do is to link the behavior with immediate negative consequences. That's one thing you can do. Or 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 associate the behavior with immediate positive consequences, right? When you drink a bottle of beer, almost immediately you begin to feel the side effects, right? The positive side effects, isn't it? You feel good, chill, right? But you don't really experience the negative side effects. So you want to get to make the negative side effects as immediate as possible. One way you can do that is to think about to constantly think, spend time every single day deliberately thinking about the negative consequences of the action, right? This will feed and it will create an association in your mind between the action and pain, right? This is one way to discourage the action. And then, so I mean, I've given you many ways to give energy to an action, right? A way to stop an addiction, to take away a certain compulsion or lower the compulsion. Actually, I don't know how to take away the desire to do something, but we can really lower it by encouraging the opposite behavior and discouraging this behavior, right? So what I want to do is I want to feed energy to what I want to do and take away energy from what I don't want to do. But again, don't take these things on faith. Please make the observations. Find out if what I'm saying is correct. Do actions really have energy? Can you actually feed energy to a given action? And then find out for yourself what works. What behavior are you trying to stop, right? Add that in the comment section below. What behavior are you trying to encourage? Add that in the comment section below. Now, if you loved this video and you want to see more of these videos, I publish them every single day. So please don't forget to give this to like this video, give it that means give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification. Ding, 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 ding. This will notify you whenever I publish a new video. Now, all these methods I've been telling you about, how to give energy to a particular behavior, how to break an addiction, all of this stuff is things that I've observed. They come from my observations of my own problems, you see. And if you are, and I didn't need to read a book on this topic. I just made the observations, and the observations taught me what to do to encourage certain behavior and to discourage certain behavior. Right? So if you want to also learn how to find your own solutions to problems by observing them for yourself, then I have a tool that you can use. Just go to the description of this video, click on something called the Observe approach. There's a link. This will give you free and instant access to a simple but very powerful method that you can apply immediately, right, to deal with any problem that is stressing you out. And I've made some videos related to this topic that I think will help you to encourage the right kind of behavior that you want and discourage certain types of behavior. If you want to get that again, just go to the description of this video and click on you'll see some suggested videos from me, right, for you. And the final thing is, if you have a question or a comment, please add it in the comment section below. I might answer your question in a forthcoming video, and I also want to know what you're thinking so that I can make videos that meet your needs. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye.